Good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Hey, hey.
It is another beautiful day.
Hey, hey.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
singing. We're the monkeys.
Don't sing it.
I didn't sing it. Everyone now is. Everyone's got it in their head.
Right.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And you're welcome. Right. So,
Now it's in my head.
Yeah, really great.
right. See, Tracy's been in the progress of working today, so she stopped work to do this. That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So just one more zone left.
Yep, last zone, but I hit the wrong button and came out of it, so I just have to pop back into the resume my sewing sessions to finish the bottom. It's all good, but I can't leave today till it's done. So
okay,
yeah,
cool. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Well, let's just talk about growing up and all of the. What brought to my mind was the Winnie, how we can relate very much throughout our day to Winnie the Pooh, how I can be a Tigger or an Eeyore or a Piglet. But I think we should, like Angela said, expand it to other characters that we grew up with, or Disney. We all probably, I know we've all watched with our family and our young ones in our lives, the Disney movies over and over and over again to, because I mean, there's some beautiful, like, great characters that can helps me get through the day and relatable to the day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like Tigger, we can talk about Tigger. Put on a quilt, get all excited, super happy, bounce into the long arm room, boom, 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 right? What other Tigger moments do you think there are? Happy things like that.
I've had Tigger moments where I've had to be Tigger because the place is so busy. Mm-hmm. And I'm bouncing from, and I've said that for years. Oh, it's been a Tigger day where I've had, I need a spring on my butt just to keep up with everything. And then there's days when my brain is just a Tigger brain. I can't. My grandfather always used to call me his girl with the grasshopper mind. But the Tigger thing is the same. It's just, you try to get to do one thing and it takes 2 hours to do that because you can't. I'm too busy bouncing from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. Excitedly, some days. Some days I get so excited about doing all the things that I can't figure out which to do first. So I just bounce from one to the other. And none of it really gets done then at the end.
And there's times you just have to put your Tigger suit on too and not let things bother you.
Right.
That's another side to Tigger. It's not just that, Tigger's excited and bounces around. It's also that he doesn't let things make him stress out. Right?
No, he's pretty relaxed.
So sometimes you have to put your Tigger on and chill a little bit.
Right.
He's oblivious most of the time to the chaos that's around him. He just doesn't see any of it. He's just happy being him.
Healthy being.
Right. I think there's like that. This is a great lead into this, all of the characters. We can find inspiration in all of these little characters. Like you said, he's always happy, doesn't let things happen because stress can make me an Eeyore in nanoseconds or a Piglet.
Yeah. I've definitely been a little more of an Eeyore lately than I normally am, just in general. And I know I'm doing it, but you can't always get out of your Eeyore, right?
Right.
No.
And then I mask that by letting everyone else think I'm Tigger. Right.
That's exhausting.
Yes. It's exhausting to be Eeyore on the inside and try to express yourself as Tigger on the outside.
Sure.
Completely exhausting.
Yes. It's that whole thing about, and as soon as the phone call, as soon as you hang up from the phone or the video call or the customer leaves the store or one of the people in the home leave the room and I need a nap.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's fault but my own.
Yeah, and it can only be 20 minutes and you need a nap because it is that exhausting.
It is, yeah.
And yet I know that I can do it all day long if I have to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
I don't like the days I wake up I woke up this morning feeling like Eeyore. And I don't know what causes that. It's not, it's the same day as it was yesterday. My family's healthy, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters to me. But it just, I don't know, some days wake up and it just feels like, oh, poo.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like,
have to go to work today. Need to make the donuts.
here we go. Thank goodness the sky didn't cave in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's hard. It's hard to pull out of that sometimes.
Well, because it's almost like you're walking through syrup, like
Right.
physically dragging yourself across the floor because of what your mind's doing to you at that moment. Because it's all mental, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my husband laughs at me because he says there are days that I can throw a switch, like wake up as Eeyore and 15 minutes later be Tigger.
You were talking about it feeling like walking through syrup. And for
Yeah.
me, I always equate it to pushing a wheelbarrow through mud.
Yeah, same
That's
idea.
what some days feel like. Like my entire day, I'm just trying to shove a wheelbarrow through a mud pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it walking through Jello.
Same idea. All three of them, right?
Yeah.
They're all sticky and don't want you to move. And yeah.
Just heavy.
Right. Mine was more of a physical when I was getting into the throes before I was diagnosed. Like everything was moving through like a big thick Jello, and it weighs on your mental capacity as well. So it's just, it's real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that may be why I'm more of an Eeyore right now than I normally am. It's because I just want this to be over at this point, you know?
Right.
Well, chronic pain also is mentally exhausting as well. When you're always hurting and it never lets up, that's rightfully going to make you irritable and a little short-tempered and sad and angry and all those things too, because it hurts all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense.
It's getting better. It is getting better.
Just stop banging it off stuff.
Yeah. I'll try. Don't kick anybody. Don't kick backwards anymore.
It's like, oh, it hurts so much when I kick that thing. Oh, don't kick that thing.
Don't kick that thing.
Yeah.
Well, then we have Miss Pig, Mr. or Miss Piglet. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you were going to say Miss Piggy. I was going to say, hey.
Miss Piggy is another great one. She gives out her advice no matter what, if anybody wants it or not. I'm sure
I do not relate to Miss Piggy at all. She is way too full of herself and way overconfident. I don't understand Miss Piggy at all.
I've always kind of felt kind of sad for Kermit.
For Kermit?
Kermit, well, because they're dating, right? On and off.
Yeah, but she's mean.
Well, I understand that, but it's almost like Kermit's an abused spouse, or I'm like,
yeah,
that's a weird one to me.
Hi, ho, Kermit the Frog here.
He's so sweet.
Now I can hear the rainbow song in my head.
Yeah, it's green.
No, don't sing it.
Don't sing it.
Don't sing it.
Right, but Piglet, I can feel negative about my quilting when I do something and I feel negative, right? Like I'd come down on myself way, way too hard. Like every time I swear that I'm quilting and it is horizontal, I'm negative. And then as soon as I take it off the long arm and I bring it up, I'm like, well, that's not that bad, maybe, So
then you kind of become Kanga, the voice of reason in all things.
Right.
How'd the kangaroo get that personality?
Because she's the mom.
Ah,
yes. Rue and Kanga.
Oh, she's the really loving one, isn't she?
Yes.
I have very limited memory of. I know I watched them, but I don't remember a lot.
So Kanga is Rue's mom.
Right. Yeah. So I remember that now, but I forgot all about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Rue, who is just inquisitive and wants to learn new things and wants to learn new things, right?
Everything's a wonder.
What?
What'd you say, Kathy?
I was going to say, I think we're all that way because we're creative people, and probably everybody who's watching is a little bit that same way because we want to we probably have jumped from craft to craft to craft. And we still, even though we're mainly quilters now, we have other crafts still in our lives for sure.
Well, crafts, no time for that.
I'm learning to use my Procreate program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a drawing program. Mm-hmm. And I have lost no, not lost. I gave them away. Many hours of sleep in the last couple of weeks. Just learning the program and learning how to get what I see in my head, like learning layers and all that kind of stuff. Because it's not like drawing on paper. I have felt that in the last week or so. I get so excited and so involved, and it's like 3 in the morning and I can't, like, I think I got to stop. And then I realize I've been like 6 hours. I've been drawing.
Wow.
Creating these things. And then it's like, oh, I should go to bed. But as I'm falling asleep, I'm thinking about, well, I want to try that and I want to try this. And at the risk of sounding a little prideful, I'm doing really good. And I can draw.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
I can draw. I put a picture up as my cover photo on Facebook. And I'm getting these comments about, oh, it's beautiful, you know, oh, heavenly or whatever. And I sent my friend Jesse a text and I'm like, people think this is a photograph. He says, well, you need to tell people that you drew that. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to say that. He goes, why? I said, well, because it just seems boastful. I mean, I'm really happy about it and I'm excited about it and I love it. And it turned out really good. But still, you know what I mean? But I drew a seahorse and a dog and like these funny little cartoon characters and a fish. My fish came out really good. But anyway, sorry.
Well, you're awesome.
I'm Doug. Doug the dog.
Doug the dog.
Up.
Tracy and I really relate to Doug the dog from Up. That's like really. He can just be sitting there, you know, doing whatever and go squirrel and go after. That's
Okay.
So how many Disney character personalities are we allowed to officially have in 1 hour span? Like what's
all of them.
There we go.
60 minutes in an hour. And in an hour, I could probably go through at least 45 different characters.
But I don't seem to go through the princesses.
Oh, no.
Like,
no.
You know?
I've never related to a princess ever in any Disney movie, ever.
No, I think the one in New Orleans, yes.
Tatiana?
Yeah.
And then there's the one from Scotland.
Yes, Brave.
Murda? No, I relate to her.
Okay, wait, stop. Are these real people or are these cartoons?
These are Disney.
Well, they're Disney feature films. So yeah.
I don't know those ones.
So yeah, so I can.
Moana's pretty good too. I like Moana.
Moana, yeah.
She's pretty good.
I mean, there's a couple, but like Cinderella, nope, don't relate to her at all. Snow White, more the dwarfs than Snow White. Yeah.
Oh, there's it. The dwarfs. Grumpy.
Sneezy.
Happy.
Sneezy, yeah.
Yeah.
Doc. Poor
Dopey.
Doc doesn't get a personality. He just is Doc.
He's grumpy too. Yeah, well, he's just Doc. He doesn't have a personality. You're right. Dopey. I'm more dopey. That's me.
Yeah.
I relate to Dopey.
A little bit to Sneezy too, because he's just happy and just sneezes and just is happy and sneezes.
Sometimes I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
I can sleep anywhere. We have a picture of me sleeping, standing in an airport, leaning against a wall.
Yeah, I can see that.
If I get bored, I can go to sleep anywhere. I don't care.
That's funny.
Okay, now I'm jealous.
Yeah, I know. I'm not that way.
But I think that's part of being a military brat, right? Because I slept when I could. Like, you know, we traveled a lot. We flew a lot. So, yeah.
I'm not a good sleeper at all. Anywhere, ever, on any day.
I would think that's called lack of estrogen and progesterone.
Or the lack.
Lack of sleeping.
Oh.
As we motor on through the ages of the world, through time.
Yeah. So. And I'm weird because I don't understand the hormonal side because I had PCOS, so didn't have the hormonal side.
Right. It's interesting. It is interesting talking to some of the women who are, again, a little bit even older than us, which we're not young, but we're not old, but we're not young. That I have this lady who comes in but she's in her 70s, going into her 80s, And she gets up at 3 a.m. and she'll quilt all day till 11 p.m. and then start all over again. And I'm just like, how do you do that? That's amazing to me. So, I mean,
phenomenal.
Right. Obviously, it's her personality too. Part of that is not just all driven by hormones or anything like that, but it's the personality and what people are gifted with, right? Or not gifted with. You can maybe call that a curse if you want to maybe call it. Some people call it that. So I don't know. I think it's interesting how some people can go on a little bit of sleep and some people have to have a lot of sleep. I'm a lot of sleep person and my husband is a little sleep person.
I can be both.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, I can survive on 2 or 3 hours of sleep and be perfectly fine and happy. I can also survive on 12 hours of sleep and be perfectly fine and happy. But I can't take naps. So unless I am sick, I don't sleep in the afternoons. If you've ever been on a phone call with me and I said, oh yeah, I took a nap, you know I don't feel good.
Right.
Because I just can't lay down and take a nap. That's not something I can do. My mind doesn't shut off that way.
Right.
I think it's been years. Like I can't even remember. I sleep in like 1.5 to 2 hour increments. Like I'm awake all night long. And it's been like that for years, and it's terrible. But I've tried meditating, I've tried breathing exercises, I've tried no caffeine from noon on, I've tried all those things, and I just don't sleep well. Just don't sleep well.
So you're not sleepy. You're the opposite of sleepy.
I'm the opposite, but I'm tired. But when the nap thing too, and it's probably been since I was in my 20s. If I ever, like I had friends in high school who would say, oh, I'm going to go home and have a power nap and then I'll meet you guys later or whatever. If I were to fall asleep in the afternoon for whatever period of time, like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, when I wake up, I feel like I've been hit by a truck.
I am grouchy if I take a nap.
Awful. I wake up with a headache. Like I don't feel good. I feel like I'm getting the flu. Like it's not worth it. Although I don't really sit around that much. So there's not really much time for me to actually fall asleep in the middle of the day. But the odd time I have done it, even if I am sick, it's like I have to force myself to stay awake because I know if I fall asleep for a small period of time during the day, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to feel terrible.
See, the problem is when I'm sick, I don't sleep for a short period. I'll sleep for 3 or 4 hours. And then I wake up fine.
Right.
But if I was like, I'm just going to take a nap because we're going to be up late tonight and we're going to have to get up early tomorrow for whatever, right? Can't do it. I am evil when I wake up.
I'm a napper. I'm a napper, totally napper.
And from the time my mom said I'd never, even as a child, like by the time I was 2, was not taking naps, that she would just let me go to sleep early because it was not. Yeah. I tortured my sister, I guess, when she came home from school.
So funny. But then there's that part of my house that never slept because I had those babies. And then I had that college kid come home. So people are going to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and people who are not going to bed till 3 or 4 at night. And then that means we had like 2 hours before then we all started over again. Like the house was always rocking and rolling there for a little while in our house. It was kind of crazy. So
no experience with that at all.
No, you're good. That's part of the curse and the joy of a big family. So what about like some other great characters like we haven't even talked about, like Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner and some of those characters, the Tasmanian Devil? How do you think those fit? I mean, have you guys had those throughout your quilting little life?
Was the Roadrunner not in some respects like Tigger? Like he just went through his life. Never noticed that
at full speed
somebody was trying to kill him 24/7. He just kept doing his thing.
He was aware enough to stop right before the anvil fell, right? And let it fall. And then he'd take off again, right? Yes. So he was aware of what was going on around him. He just went through life at full speed.
Full speed.
Yeah. And then the coyote, bless his heart, was sure he was getting dinner.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. I don't think they ever fed the coyote.
He seemed to go to an awful lot of trouble. Like Like, that's the definition of working harder, not smarter. Oh, maybe I am like the coyote. I don't know how to work. Oh my God, I'm the coyote. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I don't do anything the easy way. I do everything the hard way. Ah, dang it.
All right.
This is like therapy.
Yeah. Great.
I hope other people are getting their therapeutic lessons here on how we can relate to characters in our childhood.
I never thought of that.
Right?
I might need a minute now.
Well, it could be worse. You could be the anvil. You could be
That's true.
which in a Roadrunner and Coyote, skit, the anvil is the most useless piece of equipment there.
Yes.
Because it falls and it never falls on its target.
Right.
But it's an inanimate object. It's not its fault. Although this is a cartoon.
It's still
We're
the
analyzing a cartoon. But I do feel like running a business, to be honest with you, if I'm running a quilting business, from even with the point in my house to now, sometimes I do feel like I'm the road runner, like I'm running at full speed.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like Elmer Fudd. Like Wascally Wabbit. I mean, there's just times you yeah.
Be very, very quiet.
Be very, very quiet. We're hunting wabbits. Or in my case, be very, very quiet. The phone's ringing. The phone's ringing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think that the great thing about what cartoons were when we were growing up is that they did describe so much of what normal life was to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were things that weren't real, trust me. But a lot of the personalities that they were trying to display are just things that everybody feels at some point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And how do you control those feelings?
Just keep on running.
When somebody figures it out, let me know.
Yeah.
Give me a text. I'll put my phone number below.
Right.
Send her an email.
You can comment. It'll be great.
Comment.
Yeah.
Not putting phone numbers down there.
Any advice would be well taken.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is to let everybody else who's listening that we're all like normal. Like this is a normal. We all feel these things. We're all happy and bouncy and frustrated and down and up and lovable and not lovable
and producing things and not producing things and having a good day and having days that you've got to pick stuff out and having days that everything that goes smooth and not being able to figure out why today isn't a day that everything is going smooth, right? So it's just part of everyday life and it's part of what we deal with all the time, right? So
I think it's trying to learn to roll with the punches and just be mindful and willing to understand that not every day is a backtrack day.
That's right. And it's just quilting. There's no necessarily emergency per se. We can handle this and walk away for a day, come back and come see if our brain works better, seeing it in a new light.
For sure. Right? Yeah.
Some days I can accomplish immense things, wonderful things. And other days, I can't keep my shoelaces tied.
Right.
So,
that is so true.
Yeah.
So true.
Well, it is true. These shoes are so awful. There are days I cannot keep my shoelaces tied no matter what I do. So I was being literal, actually.
That's funny. I feel like I feel like things are rolling well, that there's going to be something coming up to really like just stop the roll. Like some all the time.
Yeah, but the other question is, why do we feel that way, right? Things are going well. Why can't we just let them go well?
Because that's not the way it goes.
Because a dog starts barking. What are you talking about?
It's all good. It's okay.
No.
Proof and point. Wow, we could have timed that if we asked for that. That was
the last word.
Fabulous.
She will have the last word. The trash.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Let her have the last word. That's
Yes.
a perfect way to end this chat.
Yes, it was a fabulous, easy, fun chat. Tell us what character you relate to the most in the comments. We would love to hear that. Maybe you would hear of a character like the Martian or some character we haven't heard of in a long time that we would bring back some great family memories. See?
Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video.
Yes.
Follow us if you like being a Disney character.
Yes. The more, but most of all, everybody have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.
Bye.